Welcome to the Lineman Lounge, hosted by Mike and Evo, calling their shots and being outlandish.
Breaking news from the Lineman Lounge. My fantasy football team just took a huge fucking hit. And that also makes it even more likely that the Raiders are going to beat the Ravens on Monday night. Le'Veon Bell is about to be your starter. Latavius Murray is going to go there as well. Jesus, fuck my ass.
Get ready for the thickest podcast in the game. Coming to you from Hangar 6, where sleeves are optional. Strap in. The show starts right now.
¿Cómo están, bitches? We are back in Hangar 6. I don't think we've referred to this place as Hangar 6 in a while. We got two separate locations, but man, I'm fucking pumped to be back in here. I had a great weekend. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We got U Sports. We got NBA, MLB, NHL, NFL, fucking golf. We might toss in an extra topic here or there because, man, I'm super pumped. I am just so excited for the weekend that I just had. And I'm ready to fucking go today. I am on 100. Evo, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, brother. Yeah, drinking a little high noon, which I found that I actually really like. I don't like seltzers, but these things are refreshing. Little vodka sodas, so I have one of those, enjoying myself.
High noons are really popular out here, and I didn't see the huge. I was like, man, it's just a fucking vodka soda. He's probably gonna taste like dicks. Yeah. They're actually super fucking good. I got a case of them sitting on the table right now. They're warm, and we'll kind of go into my weekend off of that. So I was in Michigan, and I mean, Michigan is Michigan, but I was there for a wedding. One of my good buddies from the Army asked me to be a groomsman in his wedding. So we were in East Lansing, Michigan. Michigan State territory, and it was a great time, man. They had a fantastic wedding. Congratulations to Mike and Kelly. Sweet now for their marriage. It was a fun time. The girls had a great time. G had a good time. I'm not incredibly hungover today, which is always a plus.
Yeah, we saw the girls and you and G getting the dance on. Everyone in the family was shaking their tail feather.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, listen, you get a couple drinks with me and get some music playing, especially little Black Eyed Peas. My ass is going to be out on the dance floor, getting down. So yeah, it was a great time. I'm actually going to use a cup. So, weddings, everybody, typically gets their little groomsmen gifts, their bridesmaids gifts. Well, I got this glass, and there's one handsome sumbitch on this glass. So a little picture of me, Mike, groomsmen. We actually did not get to use the glasses during the wedding. So I'm going to use this motherfucker right now. Get my first official drink in this glass. I'm actually just going to have myself a little White Claw because I had enough liquor to, drown an elephant yesterday. Yeah, but
so you got to stay hydrated. You got to stay hydrated, which is essentially what White Claw is doing for you.
Yeah, exactly. The White Claw is just hydration at this point.
We're
first
all
time I had
health.
ever. Yeah, all about the health,
podcast.
Low calorie. I mean, listen, you don't get these figures by just pounding IPAs, all right? You got to toss in a White Claw every once in a while, all right?
Mm-hmm. Though you'd think with your little man bun ponytail that you'd be nothing but IPAs and...
No. Now, I did meet some of those types of people at the wedding this weekend. My man bun is strictly just because I want to take over the man bun game. I want to be the thick former, military member with tattoos who just rocks a man bun because it just doesn't make any goddamn sense. And people are like, I don't understand. Why is his hair so fucking long?
He's all in.
I think it's hilarious.
Sure his chakra is aligned.
Yeah. I gotta be centered. All right. Yeah. I drank so many whiskey sours yesterday. And I never had one before. They were fucking awesome. They were fantastic. Now you were giving me a recipe before the show.
Yeah, and we were talking about that beforehand. I loved whiskey sours. I still love whiskey sours, but back in college, they were one of my go-to drinks. So I can actually pitch that to the crowd real quick. So if you want a low budget kind of not trailer parky, but it's my dad's recipe of whiskey sours that'll get you fucked up. You go to the store, get yourself one of them frozen cans of lemonade and a pitcher. All right. You dump the frozen lemonade into the pitcher, and now you've got that cup left over, and that's your measuring tool. You'll take a Canadian whiskey. I prefer Windsor when it comes out of a plastic jug up north. But you could get something fancier, I guess, like a Crown or something like that.
Hey, listen, good whiskey when it's cheap is still good fucking whiskey.
Absolutely. But you fill that cup up with the whiskey, put that in the pitcher, then a Sprite or a 7-Up, fill that into the cup, put it into the pitcher, and then depending on how strong you want your drink from there, you fill up that cup with water between 1 and 3 of those cups and mix it up. And you can either just have it straight because it's chilled out because of the cold lemonade, or you can freeze it and blend it and have yourself like a frozen whiskey sour. Either way, it's delicious. Either way, it'll get you fucked up and you won't even know it. I was putting usually a pitcher of those down per night when we were having good times back in college. So delicious drink.
Yeah, whiskey sours are awesome. The wedding was fantastic. So happy for those two. They've been together for a long time. They go together perfectly. So just congratulations again from the show on, beautiful ceremony and a long wedding for Mike and Kelly Sweet. Hopefully, since we're not too far away, we will see those guys again. East Lansing's about 4 hours away from where we are, so there's going to be plenty of opportunities. Hopefully, he'll bring his ass down here. We'll go to Columbus and watch Ohio State beat the absolute piss out of Michigan State because that's always fun. He's also a Lions fan. I mean, listen, he stays true to his shit, though. So I have all the respect for that.
Props to him. A much maligned franchise. I mean, you've got guys like Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders rolling through there and nothing to come of it. So if you're able to stick around and stay true to your franchise when they're going through times like that, props to you. I mean, I've been living it with the Vikings. That's been like the meme all over social media this week is the Vikings are the only franchise who have never won a championship in 60 plus years of in the NFL, 60 plus years of being around. So, I mean, I feel it.
Man. Yeah. And the fact that he had to watch his franchise quarterback get traded away and then immediately go in a Super Bowl probably does not sit well. I know it doesn't sit well with him. I think that Lions team's getting better though. Dan Campbell is, I love him as a coach. I think he's going to get those boys going in the right direction. But I don't want to get too far in the NFL. We're going to dive into that. We're going to start out kind of the way we always do. We're going to talk about a little bit of youth sports. The only youth sport we got going on right now is youth baseball out here in the Menor League. And Graydon fucking balled out the other night. He was absolutely shoving on the mound. So his team was down 8-2 in the second inning. He's playing first base. Guys on first and third. No outs. Coach makes a change, brings Graydon into the game. Goes out and strikes out all 3 batters in that inning. Gets him out of the inning. No more damage. Boys have a pretty good next inning. They end up tying up the game after the third because we were the away team. So top of the third, game is tied. Graydon goes out, shoves again. In total, he ended up facing 11 batters. He walked 1, hit 1, induced 1 ground out, and then struck out the other 8. Nice. So when he came into the game, they had 8 runs. They stayed at 8 runs, and their team ended up winning 12-8. He was just lights out on the mound. And, I mean, his hitting, we still got a little bit of work to do. Now, his first at bat struck out, and it struck out bad, yanking his head. Coached him up a little bit. When that kid puts it all together, he is going to be a monster. He had one. He hit an absolute piss missile, but it hooked foul. He hit it probably about 30 feet out into the outfield, which is we're not seeing that in this league. So if he can start to tie everything together, he is going to start crushing the ball. But excellent performance by him. Excellent performance by that team to battle back down 8-2 and get a big win and pushes them over 500. And I think they're going to be kind of right in the thick of it for potentially getting into the playoffs and trying to make a run at a championship. So that's going to be awesome for them.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I actually got some local sports stuff to talk about that had going
Nice.
on last week. It's just with me. But before we do that, you have we have a little giveaway going on, right? And I
We
see we
sure
got a
do.
lot of people watching right now. And for everyone watching, you want to go over this little giveaway
Yeah,
that you got going on?
absolutely. So, guys, right now we are doing a giveaway. All you got to do, go onto our YouTube page, take a screenshot of any one of the videos from the YouTube page. You take that screenshot, you post it on Twitter, or you can post it in the Facebook group, or you can post it anywhere. You just post it to your wall. I don't care. Okay. All you got to do is toss in the hashtag lounge birdies with that screenshot. We'll be able to find it. I can search for the hashtags on Facebook. I can search for the hashtags on Twitter. I'll see everybody who takes that screenshot and posts it, and it will get you entered for a spot to go and play some Top Golf at First Energy Stadium with me and producer Amber. So that's going to be for you and a guest. We will have 2 winners, so there'll be 4 total people joining us. I'm pretty sure we actually have a couple entries now, so that's awesome. Hopefully, we can keep those numbers going up, get some more people entered. And actually, have a really cool giveaway to join us and play a little Top Golf. Maybe have a couple drinks, High Noons, a White Claw, or we can bust out some IPAs, whatever the hell they got going in First Energy. And if they're not selling alcohol in the stadium, we're gonna bring a little pregame. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
We're absolutely take care of you guys that win.
What the
We'll
parking
have some
lot's for,
drinks,
man. The
yeah,
parking
100%.
lot, man. You just have yourself like a little mini tailgate beforehand and just getting a little schlitzed.
Absolutely. Shit, we can go over the Muni lot. Fucking tear up the Muni lot before the season even starts and kind of get that whole thing going. So
nice. All right, man. Well, so last weekend here we had the VFW golf tournament that I was a part of.
Nice.
Didn't expect to win, and we didn't win, but
yeah,
we actually played pretty good. I'd say, at least for me, it's the best golf that I've played since I picked the game back up when COVID started. I was hitting fucking piss missiles off the drive. Usually, like, I can hit the ball far, I can nuke it, but it's inconsistent. I'll have like 2 or 3 good holes, and then I'll fucking slice the shit out of one or something like that. But I was driving the green. I drove the green maybe 9+ times.
Holy fuck, dude! And where were you guys playing at?
At Mountain View, the Fort Huachuca golf course. Okay. So,
there's nothing that sits under 300 yards away at that course either. So you were hitting some fucking nukes.
We were killing it, and it wasn't a windy day or anything like that. We were shooting for, let's do par or better. Par 72. So we were like 69 sounds pretty good. Good number.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then
that's a reasonable ask.
We're 69. At 69, and then we eagled the last hole. So 67 for our total score. So overall it was a real good day. The teams that won though, goddamn, they were, like I said, par 72. I think they were in the mid 50s.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. People absolutely. And the team that got second place was like, I talked to one of the guys in their team. He's like, yeah, we don't use mulligans. Like in tournaments, he's like, mulligan isn't part of golf. So he's like, we didn't use any of our mulligans, and they still got like a 57 or something like that. And the team that won did use their mullies. So, they were
not. So you pay for them, you might as well use them. But.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, so we bought the mulligans. We got to that last hole and had 6 mulligans left because we didn't have opportunities. There's Aaron's 53 won it.
Wow, 53 is
low
insane.
Fucking score. Yeah, Spicy Mike chiming in. Good to see you, Spicy. But it was a good day, and then I ended up going out yesterday playing Mountain View again with Max and Grant, and I really wasn't paying attention. Like that last round, I felt like it was the best golf that I had played, in a couple of years. And then went and played yesterday, and I wasn't really paying attention. I knew I was doing all right. The front 9 was meh, but I was getting a couple birdies here and there, which normally in a round I'll get maybe 1 or 2.
Right.
And then what's up, 20? How's it going, Dave?
20 bucks.
I didn't pay attention to my score, so when I finished the round, it was it's god awful hot out here in Arizona right now.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask. We'll get to that here in just a second.
So the last like 3 or 4 holes, I was just kind of like, whatever, man. Like it was a slower day because people were playing slow because it was hot. I almost shit myself and had to run to the bathroom at the turn. Like, but either way, I just fucked around on the last couple holes, and then I finished my score. I tied my best score. If I had not been fucking around, I probably would have gotten, broke 80 for the first time.
Right.
So, I was kind of pissed about that, but overall golf game is going good. Enjoying getting out here, even in the heat, hitting some dingers here and there. It's a good time.
I have not played golf yet. I have not played golf since I left, which is going to be really shitty for whoever I'm playing with next weekend. My work is putting on a little scramble. There's like 100 some contestants. So it's 4-man teams, shotgun start, and 9 of the holes are going to have 2 teams on them. Like, so one then the other. So
that's how the
packed.
VFW tournament, like half the holes had 2 teams starting on it. So that it was fairly slow playing last weekend, but it was still good.
It's going to be packed. I haven't played golf in forever. I don't know who I'm playing with. I'm going to play with either the engineers that work with us or the expediters. I don't know either groups of those people. Hopefully they're really good at golf because I'm probably going to suck. I'm going to try and go out there, make some putts like I typically do because I can't fucking hit it very far. And then I'm just going to be the live entertainment. That's kind of my role. Nice. Dave. Yep.
So
good job, Dave.
$20 is $20 is popping in, Dave. So we can get into that. So, one of my teammates, my boss, Jack, normally brings a big old pitcher of Bloody Marys, which he did. Oh, yeah. And I'm not a huge Bloody Mary fan, but I've got to have one for the boss. Well, Dave, we're talking beforehand, a day or so beforehand, and Dave's like, he brings a whole pitcher of Bloody Marys. I'm going to bring a pitcher or something.
Oh, shit.
So he shows up to the course with one of those big ass water jugs where you're supposed to drink throughout the day. It's got the times on it, and it's like, you're doing good and this and that.
Oh, okay.
No ice in it, filled to the brim with Long Islands, no cups to share. I didn't see him again until we got to the VFW for prizes and things like that and the food. And Dave's hair is like this, and he's fucking done. So he is.
Oh man, drunk Dave.
He said that he lost a stylus to his phone, and he keeps on asking. He's like, "Where can I get another stylus? You think they found it?" I was like, "Nah, man, they ain't finding the stylus."
Not finding a fucking stylus on a golf course.
He thinks he got hit by Rich Harris. like he thinks he was getting out of his golf cart or something like that to get a ball and got clipped by another cart or something like that. Like, it was a good time. They did well. They got the high score in the tournament, so their team fucking killed it.
Yeah. So Geo Bachelor Dave is in full effect.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. Oh,
all in all, a good time, man.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm planning on next weekend. I'm just going to be the live entertainment. I'm going to be the guy that makes the quips and has fun, brings some fucking drinks, and then hopefully make a putt here or there. So he got ran over. Facebook user, I'm not sure who it is. If you're on the Facebook
Subway comment,
I know. If you're on the Facebook, you need to give permissions to StreamYard to show your name. If you don't want to give the permissions, that's fine. Just toss your name in the comment. That way we can see who it is and we can address you properly. But all right, man. So, that's our youth stuff. That's our local stuff. We already started diving into some of the national news and break down the fucking crazy shit that's been going on in sports.
Yeah, absolutely, man. 20 minutes in, I think it's time.
Yeah, I think it's that time. All right. So we're going to start with Major League Baseball because this is going to be kind of quick. Just kind of give a little update on some of the happenings around Major League Baseball. The AL Central is playing better baseball than I expected and worse baseball than I expected. Your Twins are playing really fucking well right now. They're 9 games over 500. But my Guardians are right on their heels at 29 and 27, 3.5 games back. And they have a chance to continue to play for October at this point. Like, they're not out of it by any means. So that's awesome to see. A team that I did not expect to hit the ball very well is hitting fantastic. They're scoring a lot of runs, something I didn't expect. So that's great. Elsewhere in Major League Baseball, though, we got guys doing some real dumb shit, and I love it because it's going to lead to a firing. Now, we talked about kind of the midseason firings before and how, baseball does some weird things, but we have a team in the White Sox who were very competitive last year. Yep. And they are just Amber Hearding all over the fucking place. Yeah. And if you guys don't know the reference, that means they're shit in the bed.
If you don't know the reference, where the fuck have you been?
Yeah, no kidding. Tony La Russa decides to do an intentional walk. There's an article on ESPN. Like, is this the worst intentional walk of all time? Like, those are the
they got the Fire Tony chants going on out in White Sox Stadium.
Listen,
so
I have no love for the White Sox, and I especially hate Tony La Russa. If you guys listened to this show very early on, before Evo joined, there was no video portion. It's just me sitting behind a mic going on fucking diatribes. You heard how much I cannot stand Tony La Russa and his old school dumbass fucking like way of baseball thinking. He doesn't do the let the kids play thing. He is very much a strict douchebag. And then he makes one of the biggest gaffes ever. Like, I love that. I think it's so fucking funny because a guy who's always talking about doing things the right way shouldn't be making decisions like that. Yeah. So, and it's in our division, so that's even better.
Yep. So I believe this is Dino again, maybe. Dude, that was such ass. I was watching it live and was shocked that Walker Guy 1-2. And ways to execute one pitch versus an entire at bat to middle of the lineup. Gee.
I don't get it. I still don't understand what his thought process was behind the walk. Like, I get it. Trey Turner's a stud, right? Trust your staff. Like, what does that say about your confidence in your pitching staff? That you fucking go and you're like, you know what? We're down. I mean, he's down in the count. 1-2. Walk him. Fucking just walk him. Hey, love it. Fire Tony. Hashtag Fire Tony. Let's go. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, and the White Sox, they're right around 500. So I mean, they ain't completely out of it yet here in the Central.
They're not out of it by any means, but
they would need to make a move. They would need to make a move quick to start figuring things out.
Yeah, decisions like that really takes the feel of a team, and it pushes them down. Like, that's where you lose momentum. That is a momentum shifting decision because, listen, managers, players, everybody makes bad decisions throughout the course of a game, throughout the course of a season. But when you make a decision that is making national news, you're on every fucking sport. Bleacher Report, ESPN, CBS, Fox, everybody's talking about how this was one of the most asinine decisions that's ever made. That has an effect on the team as a whole. There's a loss in confidence in the players and the coach, and it appears that there's a loss of confidence from the coach in his players. So that can be very, very detrimental. And that kind of brings me to one of the things that I want to talk about, why we want to get into baseball a little bit, is this Cleveland Guardians team is so surprising. And their brand of baseball is the brand of baseball I love. It is the brand of baseball we have not seen in a very, very long time. Going back once again to one of those things that I talked about when it was just me behind a microphone, was baseball has turned into the three true outcomes for the most part. Those being the strikeout, the walk, and the home run. That's what baseball has basically have been predicated around for, at a minimum, the last 3 years, probably going back a little farther. Well, this Cleveland Guardians team is not playing that brand of baseball, and it is working out for them right now. They are a get them on, get them over, get them in type of team. They have, I want to say, the least amount of home runs in all of Major League Baseball. Let me fact check myself real quick before I speak out of my ass.
While you're fact checking yourself here, a real quick program note. Our Philadelphia Eagles shithawk reporter, Bobbert Goblin, is actually outside of my door right now, and he's not willing to come in and say what's up on the pod because he's a little bitch. So hopefully he's watching and can see that. But he doesn't want to say hi to the people.
I mean, he's been on the show before. Yeah. A couple times. So, yeah. But yeah, so I found it. They're not last. They're not last. They are 26th in home runs hit. Now, in Major League Baseball now, you think 26th in home runs hit, they're probably not scoring a ton of runs. Well, they're 9th in runs per game. So what they're doing is they're hitting the ball. They're putting the ball in play. They're running well. The top of our lineup are all guys that don't really strike out too much. They make contact. Miles Straw had an infield single today in the game. So I love this brand of baseball. Like, just get them on, get them over, get them in. A little power infusion would be cool. We have 2 spots that haven't produced any home runs this year. Our center fielder and our whoever's playing fucking left field, none of those guys have hit any home runs this year, but we're still producing the 9th most runs in Major League Baseball. They scored 8 today. So if we can get a little bit of power infusion, something that we're kind of lacking right now with Franmil Reyes being out, is absolutely something that we could use back. He was in a slump anyway, so him getting healthy, him getting back and hitting the ball hard would be fucking fantastic. And so we're seeing more comments come in. The Guardians always have strong arms, absolutely. The arms have actually been down a little bit, so there we go. The Guardians have always had really good pitching for the last probably fucking decade going back. Their arms actually haven't been as good this year. If that pitching can catch up to kind of what we've expected from them, this is a playoff team. They're a half game out of the wild card this late in the season. I was not expecting this at all. We are letting a bunch of young kids play, and it's exciting fucking baseball. Tito Francona has talked about, we need a veteran here or there, but at the same time, I don't want to mess with that chemistry that these young guys are building, because this is a core that could take us back to those mid-90s teams that were constantly competing. If you can keep a young core like this together and continue to build it, these guys are going to hopefully start to actually sell some tickets. They should be selling tickets because they're fun fucking baseball to watch, man. Like, if we can get that mid-90s feel again, holy fuck, did I pick the right time to move back to the Cleveland area, because I'm going to be fucking finding $15, $8 tickets and just sitting anywhere I want and drinking till my heart is content, because the tickets only cost $8. That leaves me quite a bit of money to drink.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's the extra wild card, man. Like, this team is going to be exciting to watch. They're a special group. It kind of reminds me of the year that the Royals won the World Series. They didn't hit bombs. They put the ball in play. They ran the bases well, and they had pretty freaking good pitching. You can win a World Series like that in October, because the ball doesn't fly out of the yard in October like it does in fucking June and July.
You get that better flight when it's hot.
Yes, you do. All right. You got anything else you want to talk about on baseball, man?
No, I'm good, man. I'm happy my Twins are doing good, but still, I think that they are. It's more so that they're playing in the AL Central.
Yeah,
right now, which is kind of like
overachieving a little bit right now.
A little bit, yeah.
But hey, first place is first place. I don't care if you're overachieving or not.
And it sucks to see our top prospect from a couple years ago, Royce Lewis, go down with a second ACL tear.
Yeah,
he was looking real good. It's gonna be tough for. I mean, he's expecting to come back by sometime next season. But I mean, when he's been healthy, he's been real good. But that's the problem; he hasn't been able to stay healthy. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, this is not something that's uncommon with that Twins franchise either. Byron Buxton's probably one of the minimum top 15 players in baseball. He just can't stay fucking healthy. Like, he could be one of those dudes that we talk about in MVP conversations if he can stay healthy.
I absolutely would argue that he is MVP worthy when he's healthy. And then it just seems every year he ends up getting one of those nagging injuries and isn't out there. So
yeah, he'll miss a month and a half. And then, I mean, that kind of kills that momentum. So,
yep. All right, man. What sport you want to talk about next?
I'm ready to move on to the NBA. So the finals are shaping up, and we kind of talked about this. Was it last week that these finals are going to be really fucking good? The Celtics have kind of surprised quite a few people. Jason Tatum has played out of his fucking mind, but fucking old King Dingaling showed up last night, and it was 2 nights ago. Yeah, women's. We're not talking about fucking women.
Dave wants some women.
Where is the gambling help hotline? Because we're not talking about women's cricket. But Steph Curry is still that fucking dude. Drops 43 and had a massive fourth quarter when it was a close game and kind of put that thing away. We were sitting in the hotel bar and you can just see Steph start to take over. He's, working around screens. He's pulling up. He's forcing one-on-one matchups with centers and just, it was special to see. A couple guys in the bar were like, man, he's so good. He might be the best. He is the best shooter of all time. It's not might be the best shooter. Steph is the best shooter of all time. And then there was the comparisons. Well, he hasn't played in as many. He needs more time in the playoffs. It's like, okay, so we got a couple of drunk assholes who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Steph is the greatest shooter of all time. I don't think there's any debate at this point. He has crushed the 3 record, and he will continue to do that. He, I think, has the highest free throw percentage of all time. He's just ungodly in the things that he could do, putting the fucking ball through the hoop from up to 30 feet out. Like it's nothing. And he is quickly climbing up that best point guards of all time in my list. So when I think best point guards all time, I'm thinking of Magic. I want to say Stockton, but Stockton couldn't score, and that kind of sets him back a little bit for me. But I mean, the comp is Magic. Like Magic is the guy. Magic's the number 1 point guard ever. That you could ask.
Isaiah.
He's better than Isaiah already. I mean, you could put Isaiah up there in the top guys, but he's better than Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
Like, Steph can just do so many things that other people couldn't do. He has the range that nobody has ever seen. He's special. That series is tied 2-2. It's going to go 7. And game 7 is going to be in Golden State's arena. The last time they had a game 7 there, they did not come away with a victory. They lost to LeBron and the Cavs. And I cried like a fucking baby back bitch because Cleveland had finally won a championship. That's not going to happen this time. Steph is going to continue to do Steph things. He's going to go to 7, and Steph is going to have one of those signature games, and he's going to cement his legacy as one of the greatest of all time.
Absolutely. In the basketball realm of things, have you watched the new Netflix movie Hustle?
I have not, but I'm absolutely going to. I'm a big fucking Sandman guy, and this is another serious role, which I actually like him in. My favorite Adam Sandler movie is Reign Over Me, which is very sad, and it's not a typical Adam Sandler movie. I loved Uncut Gems. I think he does a really good job. Uncut Gems. And I like him in those roles, and I'm pumped to see this. I heard that Rotten Tomatoes is saying this is fucking a classic.
So I finished it last night. It is one of those really good, feel-good sports movies, man. Like it's one of those sports movies that we haven't had in a little bit.
In forever, it feels like. We don't get those sports movies anymore.
It's a very good movie. And I've seen people arguing Adam Sandler should never make another comedy movie again because this is the best type of acting that he is suited for.
That he does, yeah.
And you've got the goofy comedy that he did, in his SNL time, and he was great for that. But this is definitely the type of role that he's suited for right now. It is a really good movie. You've got, Adam Sandler and then Juancho Hernan Gomez, who's playing Bone Cruz. Tons of actual basketball players.
Well, I saw Boban in that thing in the preview. I'm 12 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. the whole thing is that the guys can't enter the NBA draft if they're over 22 years old, and he's like, I am 21. And then his son comes up with a shit mustache. He's like, how old is your son? He's like 16. He's like, shit. Yeah, it's a very good movie. The whole thing centers around like everyone has a past. People fuck up in the past. They can change and become, who they're destined to be or whatever. It's a real good movie. You'll enjoy it.
Is this better than Uncut Gems?
I never watched Uncut Gems.
Oh my God. You're seriously never watched it?
Yeah.
So as people that do a lot of sports gambling and talk about sports gambling live on YouTube, you should absolutely watch it. Dave should watch it as well, because if he continues to bet on women's cricket, he's going to have a very Uncut Gems fucking type of ending to his gambling experience.
See, that's dude. There's so many movies out there that I've been wanting to watch. I haven't seen the new Top Gun yet. I haven't seen The Northman, which fits with my Nordic heritage.
Right. I'm out on Alexander Skarsgård, by the way. Like, he's too fucking weird for me.
Oh, okay. Are you out on the whole Skarsgård family?
No. His dad, fantastic. But Alexander Skarsgård's fucking weird. I also don't like him because producer Amber loves him. So fuck that guy. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll probably give this a shot. It looks a little interesting. It looks a little weird, but I mean, I'll watch basically any movie with the idea that, okay, this might not be terrible. And then I'll be able to tell if it's terrible or not. Yeah. I'll leave your boy alone. He's a weird fucking guy. Eric Northman for life. Get the I love you.
Hey, it's tapping into my Viking heritage, so I gotta watch it. It looks awesome. So, but for anyone looking for a little movie night, Netflix has Hustle out there, and it is worth the watch.
Is this gonna get him an Oscar nomination finally?
Maybe,
because people were talking about that possibility of Uncut Gems, and didn't happen. So.
From what I can tell, Uncut Gems is a little bit more drama focused, and this is it's a drama, but it's a sports drama. And what I like is that they focus, at least with the basketball sort of it, is hard work, training, and it's not all just like who can shoot the threes type thing. Who can make buckets. Like, it's a lot of defense. Like, the guy that
you actually have to play. You have to play basketball.
Is defense oriented type guy and a grinder. So it's a good movie.
Hey, we like those kinds of guys on this show.
And it's got grinders. Queen Latifah. It's got Queen Latifah in it.
Damn, I didn't. I mean,
as Adam Sandler's wife.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. I'm definitely gonna check this out. I love Sandler. I love sports movies, and I haven't had a fucking good sports movie in quite some time. I watched that The Way Back with Affleck a couple years ago, and it's like this fucking booze bag. Eventually kind of turns it around and then fucks up. Affleck was perfectly suited for it, like complete fucking douchebag. But all right, so we'll get off the movie talk. We can do that.
If you let Amber watch The Hustle. And I say this as if she doesn't have the ability to watch on her own. Yeah. She's probably going to get the hots for Juancho Hernan Gomez. So be careful.
Watch out for that. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
A lot of shirtless scenes.
Great. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, producer Amber ain't going nowhere. I'm not worried about that. These damn girls, though, I got to start watching out for what they're looking at, because we watched a movie with fucking old Mark Wahlberg, and Aubrey's like, "Wow, he's big." I was like, "Okay, we're not fucking turn this off.
Turn it off."
Why doesn't he have a shirt on? Like, he's got all muscles. I was like, "All right, nope, we're fucking done."
Yo, Daddy's got muscles too.
Yeah, fucking. All right.
What's next, brother?
I got nothing on the NBA else. All right, so let's go into some hockey. Okay. The Avs have been sitting there waiting for quite a while, trying to wait and find out who their Stanley Cup Finals opponents are going to be. Rangers had a 2-0 lead in their series against the Lightning, and the Lightning fucking stormed back, win 4 straight, and are going to a third straight Stanley Cup playoffs, or Stanley Cup Finals, I should say. And man, I think this is the matchup that a lot of people wanted. The Avs have looked dominant throughout, and we want to see, if you're going to win the championship, let's see you beat the best, the reigning champions, the 2-time reigning champions. Like, this is going to be a really good fucking series, I think. I thought Tampa looked a little dead at the beginning part of that series, and they were not having none of that shit. They showed exactly why they're back-to-back reigning champions of the fucking NHL.
Yeah, and obviously you can't count the Lightning out with how good that they especially played at the second half of their series there versus the Rangers, and going back for their third time in a row. I mean, they've been a very dominant team. I just like the way the Avs have been playing. They seem like just a tier above right now. So I don't see the Lightning winning. They might have blown their wad to get through this last series, and not to discredit the Lightning or anything like that, but the Avs are just playing so damn good right now that it's tough to kind of for me to pick anyone but the Avalanche for this series.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still riding with my Avalanche until they go down, but I mean, Tampa is the team that should have. I mean, they could have closed that out way sooner. They drop a couple games. Everybody's like, oh no, is this the end? It's not. I mean, they still have a lot of fucking hockey to play. Anything could happen. The Avs have been fantastic, but Tampa's been there 2-3 years now in a row. They know how these games are going to go. I mean, you cannot discount the experience that you gain in those types of like high pressure situations. And they got some fucking dudes out there. So that is super bright.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got some fucking dudes out there. So I'm very pumped to see how this series goes. And I'm actually going to make sure I tune in and watch full hockey games because I've just been catching clips here and there, kind of reading articles, catching up, because we got so much shit going on, man. Like, we're finally settled, and as soon as we get settled, now everything ramps up. We're constantly fucking all over the place. Weddings, baseball, So I cannot wait to sit down and enjoy a fucking hockey game in its entirety, and hopefully watch these Avalanche take home the fucking Stanley Cup.
Absolutely, man. Like I said, I really think that they're gonna be able to pull it out. It might not even go a full series, to be honest. I could see this being done in like 5 games. Ooh. So,
hey, I like that, and I'm sure Avs fans like hearing that as well.
I'm relatively confident.
Loving that.
I'm relatively confident. I think that they're gonna, get 1 or 2 wins real quick, maybe a loss, and then another 2 wins, or 1 win, 1 loss, and then they'll sweep the rest of the way. Is kind of my gut feeling, just the way that they're playing.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, that takes care of it for hockey. So, do we want to go golf or NFL next?
Let's do golf and finish up with NFL, kind of our bread and butter there.
The NFL. We'll finish strong with our bread and butter. So before we get into this, because I'm super, super pumped to talk about the golf we're going to talk about, I need to go get a can of no nicotine, no tobacco chew, because if I don't put something in my mouth, I'm going to freak out. That's what she said.
Yeah, I was going to say, I got something for you. I can next day it over. But yeah, so getting into golf and like Mike is kind of alluding to, so normally we talk about PGA and Tiger and things like that, but there is this new league that has started up, Live, LIV, that is causing a lot of controversy, but a lot of big time names are transferring. They're turning in their tour cards and stuff and going over to this new league, Live. Now, the controversy for it is surrounded by who is funding it. All right. It is being funded by the Saudis. All right.
Yeah.
Who have, not to get super geopolitical on stuff, but they haven't been the greatest people towards humans.
Okay. That's a good way to put that.
Yeah. They, the Saudi princes and stuff like that. It's, you know, very oil driven and things like that. And they've had a lot of human atrocities and stuff in their past and present. To be,
I mean, they just killed a fucking reporter not too long ago, but
yeah. So, and that's basically where the controversy centers around, is the funding for this tour really is coming from not a great background. Like, people, you know, will say it's blood money and things like that, and I get that. But if we're talking purely sports, they had their first big event in the UK.
Big is an understatement of how this went.
Yeah. But purely talking sports, it's fucking awesome, and it's what golf needs.
Yeah, I agree.
So the format for
Go
it,
ahead, yeah.
that they, you know, all these players are going over, and they are in teams. So teams of 4. So it's both a team and individual competition. You have these teams of 4. If the team of 4 comes out with the best score, they take like home something like $750,000.
Yeah, they took home an extra fucking $750,000.
Each player gets that shit. All right. And then the winner overall of the tournament, they're taking home, at least from this tournament, $4 million. All right. So in comparison, like Dustin Johnson just went over and signed his contract. In that one contract, he made more money than Tiger Woods has made his whole career from just career winnings, which is insane. And that goes back to
Tiger Woods is the winningest golfer ever.
Yeah.
He has won the most tournaments of all time.
And it's, you know, obviously, where's this money coming from? That's the question that people are upset with. But for professional athletes, it's not necessarily a no-brainer. I don't want to call it that, but it's like, you can go and play, and look, they put up the rankings of how much money you got. 48th place got $120,000. 48th place.
That's a winner's purse at one of these mid-size, not a small tournament, a mid-size tournament in the PGA.
Yeah, for 48th place. The earnings that you get, look, you're still breaking $1 million for 4th place. And again, that's 48th place is better than a lot of these other tournaments. So not only is it fun to watch kind of a team play, but you are also seeing individuals play. You're seeing good golf, and it is rapid fire. It is fast paced. It's not the slow, super quiet golf that you're used to in the PGA, which is definitely more of like a gentleman's sport type of feel to it. But, you know, they're breaking down how many shots you're seeing and something like that. They're like tripling the amount of shots that you see on these broadcasts, which are being shown on like YouTube live and stuff like that. So you're not having to pay extra for it. You're able to just watch it. They have they need to fix their leaderboards and stuff like that, but usually you'll sit and watch a player play, and it'll pop up their score and then go away. And then in between commercial breaks and stuff like that, you'll see like the top leaderboard, top 5, something like that. They have this, you know, active tracker on the left-hand side, which is showing of the screen, which is showing what the players are, you know, scoring, who's up that you're watching. So it's almost like a ticker that's constantly going. It definitely needs to be reworked, because they only show like 3 letters from the player's last name. So you can get confused of which player are they trying to show there. But it also has like a logo of which team that they're on, because they actually have like sports team type of names for their 4-man teams and stuff like that. And you're just seeing way more golf. You're getting way less commercial breaks. You're seeing way more action. It's the thing that golf needs in order to bring it into this century for the more modern and youthful viewer. It's for golf, it is doing great things, I think. And you're seeing more and more and more players. Pat Perez, one of my favorite golfers, because he's a fucking dude with a mullet from Arizona here, who loves to have a good time. He just signed.
They have some big fucking names. We'll talk about the names.
Johnson, Mickelson, stuff like that. You know,
Bryson is supposed to be going over there. That is one of the biggest names in golf. Even though he doesn't win a ton, he is one of the biggest personalities in golf, which is one thing that the PGA lacks, is those personalities that drive viewership. And now he's going over to live.
Louis Oosthuizen and a bunch of these big names, and you're only going to see more going, I think, because after this event, where fans are extremely happy with what they saw, and the players are getting that much more money. Financially, it just makes sense to go over, because you can make in one tournament what they would have made in a year.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And the PGA, they don't like it. They're being extremely petty. They're putting out these memos, making them public, saying that these players are no longer welcome, allowed.
Yeah, they're banned.
Yeah. And honestly, the PGA might be shooting itself in the foot, because they should be seeing what LIV is doing. And they probably don't have the money to back it completely, because obviously this Saudi money is fucking insane. This oil money is insane. But paying the players more, and at least updating their telecast and broadcast for more of that modern viewership, because they're going to be losing so many of their big names that it's kind of like if someone swept in and made another baseball league right now, because baseball is in a bit of a rough patch. Same with NHL. It's in a bit of a rough patch, except for it's how do you change, like LIV Golf isn't necessarily changing the game that much. They're still going out and playing golf with the same set of golf rules.
Yeah. Yep.
But they are making it more entertaining and more fun to be a part of and watch. And for the players to get that much more money, it's insane. And, to break down into this money issue a little bit, obviously there's issues with the Saudis and where that money is coming from. But like we talked about earlier, it's not like the PGA and not like Americanized or Western golf has had a great past.
They don't have the most stellar track record when it comes to inclusion. And
the Masters was first played in 1934, and everyone knows the Masters first played in 1934. They didn't allow a black competitor until 1975. The club didn't even admit a black member until 1990.
They didn't allow their first woman. They didn't even allow the first woman to join the club until like 2012. I want to say is what Condoleezza Rice.
And it's, people can definitely say and make a good argument that it's apples to oranges between what the Saudis are doing and PGA. There's definitely a difference. And I don't want to get into that, because that's very, very touchy subject, but I'm just saying, sports, wherever you go, whatever league, has very bad backgrounds for the most part. A lot of times people will say like NFL and stuff like that is akin to a slave trade, because you are bidding for players, you're trading them around like commodities. There's always going to be bad connections that could be made. But for all you know, like a lot of these golfers, they're donating monies to good charities and things like that, and now they're making exponentially more. Like they could be doing a lot of good with this money, even if it's coming from a bad spot. I don't want to necessarily justify the whole thing. Purely sports wise, it's awesome to watch. It's definitely something that the golf game needed, and it's making it way more inclusive and inviting to new players and things like that. The backing of it, obviously there's an issue with it, but it's one of those things that we have to get past as sports fans watching the sport to some extent.
Right. And that's something that we talked about before the show. Every sport that we watch basically has some sort of deep-rooted problems based on the times that we grew up in, or the people grew up in here in the United States. There's always some sort of dark underbelly to what these leagues are, and we try to push past those. The leagues push past those. There are times where those things still pop up, though. Now, the Saudi thing that's going to be tough. Like that, you're not going to get a whole bunch of people on board with the fact that it's Saudi money. Okay? But
I'll make a devil's advocate argument right now against it. It would be almost akin, maybe not as bad, but maybe it's just because we don't know as much, to Hitler and the Third Reich putting on a sports league. That's the argument that people are making, and I get that, and it's tough. Like,
yeah, I mean, to get into that whole geopolitical thing, the Saudis have done some really terrible, heinous things, and this is not the place to talk about that, because we're two dummy thick idiots, right? We're here to talk about the sports, and the sports aspect of it is fantastic. This is the golf that you go out on a weekend, just like you just did, like I'm going to do next weekend, and you play with your buddies. You play in a little scramble. You play a tournament, right? There's still that massive competitiveness because they're all playing for themselves, but they're also playing on a team, and they're making more money. They're playing 54 holes instead of 72. So you don't have guys playing for Sunday. You have one last round. You got to go get it. That makes more exciting golf.
Yep.
The TV packages, right? You kind of talked about it, the broadcast stuff. There are way less pre-recorded packages being played, and you're seeing way more fucking golf. Like, this is exciting. They're going to get bigger names. Guys are going to go after the money, sure. But, like, this is exciting, fun stuff. I did not have an opportunity to tune in. I was obviously busy. But this is exactly what, like, fans of golf kind of want, especially if you're not an avid golf fan. This is kind of what tunes in that younger crowd. Like, okay, so there's a little bit of a team aspect here. These guys are doing some different things, and you're actually seeing the fucking game be played. Like,
look, I'll say this. I watched maybe an hour this weekend, and in that hour, I felt like I watched a weekend of the Masters as far as like the intensity of it. And so, but you're getting way more than that if you're actually wanting to watch the whole tournament and the whole thing go down.
Yeah.
Like the viewing experience as a fan is so much better. Now,
Charles Schwartzel won this first tournament. He won 4.7. There you go. Get that in there. He won $4.75 million. More money than he's, I think, ever won in his career.
I'm pretty sure it's the biggest winning that any golfer has ever had.
Yeah, it is. It is absolutely the biggest purse any golfer's ever taken home. But he said, listen, the money's great. Nothing will ever top winning a major, though, winning the Masters, because that's a legacy type thing. But we may see guys who've won majors, and they're not necessarily worried about their legacy, come over and play fun golf for a shitload of money. And that's going to improve the fucking league. Like, that's going to improve the entire organization. The more guys that get. Getting a name like Bryson DeChambeau is not a small fucking thing. He is one of the biggest names in golf, and he's not even a top 15 golfer in the world. Like, now we haven't seen any of those top 10 guys make the jump, because I think everybody in that realm is still trying to play for the number one golfer in the world title. But we're going to see some really fucking good golfers make the switch. I mean, we've seen a legend already do that in Phil Mickelson. So,
I mean, I believe Tiger got offered close to $1 billion or something like that.
Dude, I don't think Tiger will ever do it.
Yeah.
Just because Tiger cares about his legacy more than he does money. He's made so much money outside of golf. Now, he did lose a massive chunk of that in the divorce, but he doesn't need the money.
Money is not an issue for Tiger.
Yeah, Tiger is playing for a legacy. Tiger's playing for a legacy. These guys who are not going to be all-time great golfers, they're out there playing because they enjoy the game and they're playing the thing that they love to win money. Those are the guys we're going to see go over, and that's good fucking golf. Like that, we're going to see some massive names in exciting golf. Like, I don't know what else you could ask for from a purely sports-based thing. I understand the people being upset because of where the money comes from. You're not going to get any argument out of me. But, like, if you're just a sports fan, this league's going to be fun. And that's not something that golf has a lot of.
Yeah. Look, the PGA needs to do something really quick to save their brand. Like, and I'm not, like, within the next couple months, they have to do something, because the amount of players that have switched over and the players that are switching over, like, right now after this first tournament and seeing how it went down.
Patrick Reed just jumped.
Yeah, they're getting more. PGA just banning players who are going to play in this league.
It's so petty.
It's going to push more people away. Like, more golfers are going to get pushed away into this live tournament. It's like they're hanging themselves by not being willing to look and see what's good out of this situation and how to take advantage of it.
Well, I have the perfect comp to what you're talking about. We had the XFL, the AFL, right? They did some really cool things with some of their rules, but especially their replays, right? How they worked it, how they had the guy talking it through. So everybody in the world knew what was going on, and the NFL didn't do it. People were clamoring for some of these changes, and it never happened. And what happens every single year when it comes down to officiating and replays in the NFL? People start bitching that it's not quick enough, there's no transparency, all of that. They still haven't made the switch, right? The NFL is the biggest brand in America. But there are things that you can take from some of these other leagues and improve your league and make that product better. You could potentially make more money. I don't know that the NFL is necessarily too worried about that, but the PGA is an organization that should be taking all of these good things that they see and folding it into what they do so they can generate more revenue, more interest in their game, and honestly, just more fucking viewership, because it is hard to watch a golf tournament and not, producer Amber coming through in the clutch again. It's hard to watch a golf tournament, not in the fact that you can get bored. It's hard to find out where the fuck they are being broadcast. Like, you have the Golf Channel, but the Golf Channel is playing a lot of replays. You get the CBS broadcast, but you're only getting the weekend broadcasts. Like, if you want to watch golf, it is not easy to find a tournament. And Live, anybody can access it because it's on like a YouTube live. Like, you just go, boom, Live, done. This is something that I wish the NFL would do. Like Major League Baseball, they do the MLB TV package, right? So I pay to watch my team. I can watch every fucking Guardians game anywhere I am except for here, which sucks because they're blacked out. But I can watch them, on Bally Sports or whatever the fuck the cable provider I have is, right? But you have a package where you can pay and you can watch your team, and because that's the games that people want to see. You can pay for every team. The NFL could do something like that. Golf could do something like that, right? But it's not as accessible. And Live is making golf accessible to everybody to watch any fucking time they want. They're going to have a limited schedule this year, but that is only going to expand because I guarantee the popularity of the league is going to continue to go up as these players make the jump.
Yeah. And that's the difference with the NFL, that the NFL is the big money in town. They might be the only game in town. Obviously, there's these separate leagues, but no one's wanting to watch those lower rate players.
No, I've seen some
players.
AFL games on teams, and I've seen some AFL games on. I'm like, oh, okay, let's take a look. I see the first pass from the quarterback. I'm like, all right, no, fucking turn that off.
What's the reason people are it's lower skilled players playing there, and the reason it's lower skilled is because the money is in the NFL. The PGA,
that sounds like it's a problem.
The PGA ain't the money anymore. They were the only show in town, and they ain't the ones with the money anymore.
No, they're not at all. So not even close.
They can easily get swept out and not be much of a thing anymore. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of heritage and everything with the PGA, but they're about to lose their legacy if they don't do something quick.
Yeah, they're going to have to make a change. They got to get rid of so many pre-packaged fucking little spots, and they got to show more golf. They got to liven this shit up a little bit. I mean, don't get me wrong. I will turn on a golf tournament. I will watch the Memorial. I will watch the Masters. I will watch the U.S. Open. I'll watch the Waste Management because Waste Management has a really cool venue. But some of these places, they don't do that. They're just there. We're gentlemen. We're here to play golf. But that doesn't sell to everybody. That it doesn't. Like, golf is not one of those things that is going to, oh man, there's the fucking Roman make your dick harder fucking tournament at bumfuck course in Wisconsin. Like, that's I threw in Wisconsin for you. It's not gonna happen. Like, that's not gonna drive the money. That's not gonna drive viewership. So
yep. Either way, if you want to watch some exciting golf, Live might be the way to go.
The Live Tours fucking
check it out.
I like what they're doing, man. I really, really do.
Yeah.
And the PGA absolutely hates it. And it's going to be a very contentious next couple of months because the PGA, I would not be surprised if there is some sort of legal action taken by the PGA against some of these guys that held tour cards. I don't think they can do anything to the Live League, but you may see them try to do some shit with the golfers and kind of force their hand. Hey, there might be contracts that are signed like we see in other sports.
I bet you those players don't care. They'll probably, because realistically, the Saudi League is going to know, like, oh, well, these guys, we'll just do what we can to keep them here and pay for their fucking legal shit and stuff like that, or give them a kicker for saying fuck you PGA, and to keep them playing there. Like that money talks, and at the end of the day, these players are going to be jumping over continually. It's tough when there's that much money. I mean, that's the $4 million for a purse, man. Insane.
Yeah.
So
it's more money than Tiger Woods has ever won in his playing career.
Yeah.
For a Charles Schwartzel.
Mm-hmm.
How do you turn away? Like, some people will stand on principles. Some people will go for legacy. But that's not going to be everybody. I actually think it's going to be in the minority of people that are trying to do that.
Yeah. Then as you get more and more new young golfers, they're going to have to make a choice, and it's going to come down to maybe I can make the PGA Tour, and maybe I can make some money there and some endorsements, or I can go to Live, and even if I don't have the endorsements, I can make bank.
I can fucking finish 48th in the tournament and make the 4 times the average American salary.
Yeah.
In one fucking tournament.
Again, $120,000 in one tournament for getting 48th. You play in 4 in a year, and you're sitting real pretty, and you don't even have to play. I mean, obviously there's good golfers there, but you could play shitty. And if I happen to be on a team that wins $750,000, fuck. Insane.
Yeah, this is where guys who we see try to make tournaments, like those scratch golfers, like maybe some of those athletes, like a Tony Romo. Maybe he goes and plays in a Live tournament, fucking gets a little cash in his pocket, buys 800,000 bottles of fucking bourbon so he can drink them before his broadcast, and like it. You're gonna get some names there that we don't expect, and it's gonna be exciting to watch.
Yep. And because I think we've beat this into the ground, probably.
Yeah, we have.
Before we leave, for anyone that's wondering, Live is a reference to the Roman numeral 54, which is the number of holes that they play in each event. And also, if every hole was birdied on a par 72 course, it would be the score that you get. So that was the backing for their name.
That's a nice little marketing thing too.
Because I didn't know what Live stood for.
I had no idea until you just said that.
But all right, so you ready to jump into the old NFL?
Yeah. Yep. Let's do it. I just got another beer. I'm fucking as ready as I'm gonna get.
All right. So one of the things that was news this week centers around Jack Del Rio, former Minnesota Vikings linebacker, head coach, things like that. He's currently a coach for the Washington Commanders. Yeah. And he made some comments that got some people upset over the last week, particularly focusing around January 6th and everything that's going on with the hearings on that situation. And don't like to get too super political with stuff. But
this is one of those things where we kind of have to a little bit.
Yeah. I can receive some hate on this. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Maybe I haven't looked into his comments as much as I should have. But he basically stated in some tweets, believe that people are allowed to peacefully protest things that happened on January 6th that did not turn out peaceful. And he's alluding to issues of this is the protests that became unpeaceful that people are focusing on. However, you have the riots and protests that happened after George Floyd's murder, and no one wants to talk about how those were unpeaceful. Which, I mean, there's truth to that. The January 6th protest turned unpeaceful. And the riots and stuff after George Floyd's killings were unpeaceful. And he referred to the stuff on January 6th as a dust up. And he's since deleted his Twitter account. He's been fined, I believe, by the team.
He walked those back a little bit. He apologized.
I believe on Tuesday he's addressing the team, but he's had a lot of NFL players come out against his comments. He's had some players for his teams come out and say that Jack Del Rio is their guy. I believe Chase Young said that. I believe everyone is entitled to their personal opinion. Right. He's allowed to have that personal opinion, but it's one of those things that we should be smart about our platform. Keep those opinions to yourself, especially when they are contentious. And that's more or less the feelings that I have on the situation is you're allowed to have your personal opinion. Some of those opinions are good, some are bad. He can have his opinions. He probably should keep those more to himself than be blasting them out on Twitter.
Yeah. And I'm kind of in the same vein. Now, I don't necessarily agree with what he said. There's some truth to what he said. This is my main point here is you got to understand who you are, what your platform is, and who you can reach with that platform and the things that you say. We talk about this all the time. Like, how do these people do these things? How do they say these things? And I think it is a little bit of lack of awareness and not understanding the gravity of the things that are coming out your mouth. These conversations, like, we can't just sit here and just have this conversation like it's like we're talking about the fucking NBA Finals. Like, that's not what this is. This is not just a one-off, I can say whatever I want type of thing. And I think people in those positions should probably realize that. Now, I think Jack Del Rio's comments were a little short-sighted. Calling it a dust-up is, I mean, it wasn't that. I mean,
people died.
People fucking died. Yeah. So that is kind of short-selling what actually happened. These comments are obviously, I think, politically charged. I think a lot of people understand now that Jack Del Rio, how he feels politically. And that is one of those things that we kind of want to avoid as much as possible in injecting themselves into sports, right? So we get people who say, okay, so you shouldn't protest during the national anthem because that's bringing politics and things like that in the sport. Those people, sure, maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. You can't have one without the other. We're going to see both sides of this, right? You have to understand who you are trying to reach, what your message is, and not just say things because you feel them. Trust me, if I said all the things that I fucking thought all the time, I would not have a job probably at any place that I've ever worked. I'm notoriously bad for being the guy that says the quiet parts out loud. But I also have a little bit of self-awareness and understanding when those things are the right things to say, when they're the wrong things to say, and what the venue is to say those things. I don't want to stifle him from. I don't want to be like, oh, you should never say this. It's bad. You're a bad person. I think he made a judgment error in speaking those things to a platform that I'm not sure that he realized was going to reach that many people. If he understood the gravity of what he was saying and how it was going to be received, I bet he doesn't say it, even though he believes it. It's just one of those things is in today's society, it's not the society you grew up in, Jack. It's not the society I grew up in. Not the society you grew up in, Evo. Yeah. We have to be more conscious about how we say things, where we say things, and the people that we can reach when we say those things. Yeah. So I'm not going to sit here and bury Jack. I'm not going to tell the people that are burying Jack that they're wrong or they're right. It's just, I would like to see, honestly, I would like to be able to see people speak their mind, get pushback, and then maybe there's a conversation that happens and people can come to a common ground. But in today's climate, we're just not there yet, man. Like that's the place where we all want to be. That's the place that I think everybody is striving for, is that place where you can have a comment, you can say something that maybe is controversial, and there's a discussion. But we're not at the discussion point right now in America as things sit. It's your opinion, my opinion. They're both right. They're both fucking wrong.
No.
You can ask the same fucking people the same question, and you're going to get yes and no's in opposite directions.
I will play devil's advocate here in general. And people say a lot of times that professional athletes and coaches and stuff like that, they do have a big platform.
They do.
And that they should speak out against things that they consider atrocities and stuff like that. And there's obviously a big part of at least the country and the nation that feels probably in line a little bit more with what Jack Del Rio is saying. If he was saying the opposite of what he said, this wouldn't be a news story. It wouldn't be a headline, because political leanings of mass media are heavily left-leaning, liberal, and things like that. I don't think that what he was saying is extremely insightful, or like it wasn't like inciting an issue. And stuff like that.
I don't think
he's expressing a personal opinion. It's not like he was saying like, oh, people shouldn't have been writing for George Floyd or whatever. I think he's bringing to light the situation of like, hey, there's two separate riots. One was done by one political background and, you know, racial epitaph. One was done by another. They should be viewed the same because they're both, you know, political riots and stuff like that. He's bringing to light a situation. It's tough because, you know, there's a bit of a double standard.
Anytime you call out a double standard on one side or the other, there's going to be immediate pushback from that other side, because we don't want. I'm not even saying people don't want, because I'm not part of this bullshit. I don't do one side or the other. But when you're on that left, you don't want to be compared to the right. When you're on the right, you fucking hate being compared to the left. There's just so much division, and like there's no possible way that if you think this or vote this or you're this and I'm this, that we could have any middle ground. And that's just, I mean, it's wrong, but people are not ready to say that and accept that for the most part, I don't think.
Yeah. It's a tough situation. I don't think anyone's voices should be stifled. However, all of these professional sports teams should just have like a hefty chunk of their budget going towards PR.
Like, why the fuck is this not like
publicists in general?
PR coaching. Like you have so many coaches in that, like you have an analytics guy. Why don't you have somebody who comes out and says, hey, you want to say, like, just coach them up a little bit on things that they should and shouldn't say.
PR people, it should be in the contract. Don't make public statements without first running it through the PR group. You can still make the statement afterwards, even if we tell you not to. That's your choice. But at least let us run through it once with you and tell you how to frame this better if you are going to release it regardless. Have it like in the contract or something like that. So that way they could hopefully avoid some of the blowback, or have the conversation be like, just so you know, this is going to cause a lot of hate and you might get fined for it, which is what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
He got fined for this stuff. And obviously has a lot of hate going towards him now. Just something like that would probably prevent like 90% of these issues.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is that fucking drunk text. This is the drunk text that you send your fucking ex-girlfriend after a night of drinking. Like, you probably shouldn't send this. Will you send it anyways? Yeah, maybe, probably. But yeah. But is it a good fucking idea? Like, if there was just somebody who was like, okay, listen, I am the social media manager. Like, you guys can, if there's a politically charged thing, and we could do a fucking weekly briefing on those types of things. They have meetings all the time. That meeting takes maybe 10 minutes. So, all right, so if we're making statements on this subject, let's consider what the blowback is on this side and on this side, whichever side you fucking fall on. That's not a hard. It's not a hard thing to do. I don't understand why it's not a thing. Maybe we can create a new position, and you'll go work for the Vikings. I'll work for the Browns, and we can help them maybe understand a little bit when is the right time and not the right time to say certain things. Because I feel like we have a pretty good background in that as being former military. Maybe. Listen.
Honestly,
listen. What you said is 100%. What you said is 100% correct. But maybe shut the fuck up.
My whole PR thing, I probably would be bad at it because I would be like, let's just not post anything. How about?
How about that?
Yeah.
How about fuck social media?
Yeah.
And I say that as a podcast that tries to pump their podcast through social media. I love social media. I fucking love it.
I love the memes.
I will sit on Facebook. I will sit on Twitter. I will scroll through. I will read all the fucking shit that people say. But I'm not going to be like, oh, let's talk about the insurrection. Let's talk about George Floyd. Like,
yeah,
those are things that are be like, oh, well, I mean, you might get a lot of followers. You might lose some followers. It just depends on what side you're looking for. Yeah. Listen, I want this show. I've always wanted this show to be a place where we can come, have fun, shoot the shit, fucking have a drink, and people can enjoy their time with us.
Sports centric, shoot the shit. And a little bit extra.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We shoot the shit every once in a while. We were talking about fucking Adam Sandler and movies earlier. That's what this is supposed to be. This is supposed to be fun. Are there times that we're going to have to talk about politics, and will we talk about them? Yes. You guys heard me say fuck Republicans and fuck Democrats. Fuck them all. Can't stand them. Get them out. Let's get them all out. But it's conjecture. Like, when we have these kinds of stories, we're going to have to talk about them. There's going to be a little political aspect, but hopefully people are still hanging out, having fun, because, I mean, that's what this is for. And if you could just inject maybe a little bit of common sense into some of those things that people put out on social media, we wouldn't have these goddamn giant controversies over a 160 character tweet.
Yep. But so keeping it NFL, I think we can move on from this.
There we go.
Yeah. We had a sale of a team over the last week here. The Denver Broncos were sold, and they are now the Walmart Broncos.
The Walmart Broncos, maybe we'll roll back those prices. If they don't drop the price of the beers at that stadium, a little rollback special, fucking something, I will be shocked.
You can go get yourself a Great Value Glizzy.
I don't know. Great Value. I don't think that's going to work. What is that? The Walmart brand, Great Value?
I believe so.
Okay. Great Value Glizzies, baby, all around. Yeah. Hi, Hannah. Yeah. So I don't know how this ownership group is going to do it all. Listen, the Waltons are brilliant. They created the largest employer in all of America with Walmart. They have been sitting on this Walmart money for an eternity, and now they're hopping into the sports world. And a bad owner can create really bad things for your organization. The Haslams were not great when they started their ownership of the Browns. They have gotten better. We have the Snyders, who, I mean, I don't remember a time where the Snyders were good. But they're in a controversy right now where he might have to sell the fucking team because he was lying about funds. Like, your owner, while he is just the guy who, writes the checks, is the final say on basically everything. He could have complete overwrite unless, they say, okay, listen, I'm just the guy with the money. You guys figure out the football operations. I have no idea what kind of owners the Waltons are going to be.
They know one thing. They know how to turn a profit.
They know how to make money.
And they will put people in place to turn a profit. And the way that you turn a profit in the NFL is having a good team. Yeah.
I mean, listen, one of the things that have been reported that they're trying to do is bring in Peyton Manning as an advisor. That off the bat,
looking for a role for him.
That tells me that these people understand their fan base. Hopefully they understand football a little bit, because Peyton knows basically everything you could know about football. I'm not sure if there's a smarter football guy on the planet than Peyton Manning. So that kind of a decision right off the rip tells me, okay, so these guys are off to a decent start. Hopefully it continues to go that way. I have no love for the Broncos. I mean,
they're $4.65 billion reasons why they can't do to make this team fantastic. And the Broncos had themselves a pretty good offseason. They got a new quarterback in there, which was, for all intents and purposes, the missing piece on that team to really make it good. New coaching staff, so we'll see how that goes, even though it's a former Packer, so that might not bode well. They didn't give themselves Sharon Rogers and his new girlfriend, Sky Blue, whatever, Earth Mother Witch, something on those lines. She says she's not a witch, but that's exactly what a fucking witch would say. So get that little piece out of there. But the meme that I love that I see going around, and this is for Broncos fans out there, is, you know, every time that a Raiders fan goes to Walmart to buy something, you know, they're just supporting
the Broncos.
Team, the Broncos. So that'll go well.
Joe, it has been a while since we've seen you, big dog. How you doing? Has he
out there in Bama?
Is he out in Bama now?
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Apparently him
on the
and Matt
job.
Cooper went and had a date night. They saw Top Gun together. Joe paid for it. Matt cut a hole in the bottom of the popcorn bag for him. So it was a good time.
Very nice. People of Mile High. I would be interested to see how that goes. I mean, the people of Walmart was fantastic. Joe, congratulations, man. I'm glad you got the fuck out of there when you could, especially from that place. I guess we fuck Textron. I'm done holding it in. Like I'm out. I made a comment the other day. Thank God I still don't work for Textron when I saw Tony's post about not getting paid right. But yeah, I'm glad you're out there, man. Glad you're having a good time. IMAX and a blowjob. I mean, that sounds fantastic. Tom Cruise as well, who's a fucking wild man. I have not seen it yet. I'm very excited. Top Gun is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, and this is, we're going to kick it super nerdy.
We're going back into the movies.
Yeah. Back in high school. So we had a group of friends that we were obsessed with Top Gun. Everybody was a member of the crew. Like everybody had their, like, it was
Maverick, Merlin.
Yeah. So I was Maverick. We had, and everybody, I did not create this. I did not fucking create this list.
I think Tom Cruise's height disadvantage.
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like that was appropriate for the fucking wild man who's short. That sounds about right. But
a lot of topless beach volleyball.
Not anymore.
Out in Wyoming?
Not anymore on the topless beach volleyball. But back in the day, you bet your ass I was out there topless beach volleyball. I was pretty fucking good too. I used to be able to jump. Now I couldn't slide a piece of paper under my ass anymore. But like everybody was on the list. Everybody signed their name, the official Top Gun crew. Like, we thought it was so cool. And I look back, I'm like, God, how big of fucking douchebags can you be?
Hey,
but
we all got things in our past that we're embarrassed of. I had a little group, the Wu-Tang Dangler Society. We Wu-Tang Dangle. We love that shit. RZA, oh dirty bastard. Raekwon the shit. We fucking love the Wu-Tang. And we were just dumb white kids rolling around in our fucking cars blasting Wu-Tang. So it's embarrassing, but you know, Wu-Tang for life, you know.
Yeah, Wu-Tang for life. Also, you can be my wingman anytime.
Yeah.
I can't wait to fucking see it. I'm super pumped. Hopefully,
I'm sure there's a lot of good Kenny Loggins jams playing. I heard that it was the perfect amount of Kenny Loggins.
Okay, good. So I'm a big time fan of like remakes. So when we were younger, when people did a remake of a song, they fucking sucked. They were terrible. Like it was just not good music. But now, like, bands have kind of started to figure out how to actually remake songs. Like, there's a whole fucking genre of people who do nothing but covers, and they're really good. There is a cover of Danger Zone that just fucking hits. It is hard, and I like it. So I was hoping that might make an appearance for the younger crowd. But either way, I'm excited. I don't love the fact that Goose's kid's name is Rooster. I
didn't know that, but that makes sense.
I feel like Duck would have been better. Duck, Goose. But I mean, I'm pumped to see it. I love Miles Teller. Can't stand Tom Cruise unless he's flying a fucking jet.
Well, it's one of those that I really want to go see. Hopefully we'll both get to go see it here very soon, and we can give our quick review.
I have to fucking dump these kids on grandma real quick, and then we'll go watch that movie.
Yeah.
And producer Amber.
And no offense to Joe Rockstar, but I know that you're very opinionated with your reviews, and I believe he put out a good review on the old Facebook. If he's saying it's good, it's got to be good.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's been so long. If they fucked this up, there's no way they did. Like, especially, I don't know if you ever heard the rant that Tom Cruise went on about when they were making this movie. Like, we're the only people who are saving fucking Hollywood. Like,
it was in COVID while they were filming it and stuff like that.
Yep,
so.
the typical crazy fucking Scientology Tom Cruise. Sorry, I took a shot at all those people.
Look, I'm completely cool with that. Scientology is a bunch of dumb fuckers. I don't really give a shit. That shit is goofy as fuck. So it is what it is.
I don't think we can go together as we're across from the country. And if we bring in the recording equipment, I don't believe the theaters are going to like that.
Probably not.
However, I mean, we can watch it the same night and then we'll review it afterward.
Yeah, absolutely.
The fucking No Sleeves Network movie reviews.
Mm-hmm. All righty. So off Top Gun, off of the Walmart sale, unless you got anything else to
I don't.
go over there.
I'm very eagerly awaiting the next part of the NFL discussion.
So it seems like it's a thing that we get to bring up every week, but we have the Deshaun Watson update out there in Cleveland. How are things going, Mike?
It's not good. It's not good at all. So we talked about division a little bit earlier, like the little political stuff. Well, Brown's Twitter is in an absolute fucking shitstorm. The entire city of Cleveland is in a shitstorm about what side of this that you fall on. That 24th case that I kind of alluded to and I had kind of seen some rumblings about, guess what? It came out. And guess what? It was as bad as I fucking said it was going to be. The things that came out in that new report, Washington Post report, are damning. And it was kind of expected to be. It was 66 different masseuses in I don't remember the time period, but it was a lot. Like a lot.
66.
66.
I believe they had broke it down, and it was something like he was having a new masseuse every week, basically, at the pace that he was at. Over 18 months, it was 66 different masseuses. The big things for it that actually, I mean, it sounds like the Texans are going to be named as a defendant as well now, because with that report, it sounds like they were acquiring hotel rooms. Like team was getting him hotel rooms to have these masseuses come over to rub his taint, from the sounds of it, the area between his balls and
happy baby pose.
Yeah, which I thought at first, because I'm not a yogi, so I don't know these positions, but I looked it up. I thought he was on all fours.
And so did I when I heard a happy baby.
And then I looked up happy baby pose. No, that's on the back, ankles in the hands, spreading cheek and letting her get in there and massage that taint.
Yeah, I do appreciate the fact that Deshaun is incredibly flexible. But this is so bad. We talked about it last week. He's going to get suspended for a year. He's going to be suspended for a year.
Yeah, at this point,
and honestly,
it's leaning that way.
There is no way that they can't. A precedent was set in Major League Baseball.
It was a New York Post report.
Was it New York Post?
I'm looking up. Yep.
A precedent was set in Major League Sports.
New York Times.
Baseball. Whatever. One of the fucking big newspapers.
Mm-hmm.
And they suspended Trevor Bauer for 2 years over court cases that were not criminally charged and are still going on, and there's a 2-year suspension. The NFL won't suspend him for 2 years. He's going to get the whole fucking year. There's no doubt in my mind at this point. Like, when the details came out in that 24th report and the report that was put out by the New York Times, now that we figured that out, there's no other way to go. This might be, because if it's not, this might be the worst PR situation that the NFL has ever had. This is going to beat Ray Rice's situation. This is going to trump the Greg Hardy situation, letting him back into the league. We're going into uncharted territory. Well, if you massage his fucking asshole, he might let that happen.
It wasn't the asshole, Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry. If you massage his fucking,
it was
his
the
grundle. The
grundle. The perineum is the medical term.
Yeah.
That nice fleshy area between the balls and the butthole. Who doesn't like a good gooch rub every now and then?
Well, I know Deshaun does.
Yeah.
There's no other way to put it. This is the worst possible fucking scenario that could have happened. You guys saw me go off. when it happened. I was pissed. I was furious. I had to turn around and scream fuck so I didn't spike the shit out of my microphone. I talked about how they gave up too much, how this is a terrible situation for female fans, how as a father that this is not something that I want for this organization that I love dearly. And it is all literally finding the worst possible way to go and taking that path.
And look, I think had the money not been doled out to him and all this stuff came out, like teams wouldn't touch him. They on Pat McAfee's show, they had a former agent front office guy on from the Packers.
Brandt, Kyle Brandt, right?
Yep. They had him on talking about the contract and like, is there any way that he can get out of it? And then he's like, no, this is very unique as far as the contract. It's, I believe, like guaranteed everything for like the next like 2 years or something like that. Yeah. And then after that, they can take away some of those guarantees, but it's only if there's new things that they aren't already aware of.
And it sounds like the Browns front office may have been aware of the possibility of the 24th one coming out, which makes that front office look even fucking worse. Come on, Joe. You know what the problem is. Like,
you're gonna tank yourself here. Someone get him a PR person. We just
Joe. If you need a PR guy, we actually talked about going into business as PR people. I feel like we did a fairly decent job.
Yeah, it sounds like the reason why the Browns were able to get him to come there and sign this contract and make this trade happen is because of
massive money that they can't take away.
The contract that they gave to him because no one else was willing to offer this, and it sounds like from what we're hearing is he has to have some other situation pop up unrelated to this current
and that
situation
is not out of the realm of possibilities at this point.
It isn't, but this is the situation, and he's probably going to be suspended for a year, and you're paying a guy insane money.
Well, $1 million this year because that was the sweetener to get him to sign.
Yeah, but still, I just like they're gonna be stuck with him at this point. Like, obviously, very, very, very talented player, but like you are not seeing that talent play for your team.
No.
Then you
won't play it all this year.
Insane money for it.
Because here's the thing: so it's going to come down with a 1-year suspension. That is, I think, the best thing that could happen would be a 1-year suspension. I think the worst way that this could go would be an indefinite.
Yeah. Hey, look, it's crazy to think that just a couple months ago we were talking about him being suspended for 4 to 6 games, maybe 8, and now we're
almost certain
1 year plus realm.
Yeah, I mean, because I could see this as if this continues to build, which there's no telling, it absolutely could with the way things are going. This could be an indefinite suspension. Now, what does that mean? If we're talking about in terms of the NFL, indefinite means. You can reapply at a certain point and get back in the league. A lot of guys do. Like Browns fans are very aware. Josh Gordon was indefinitely suspended, got back in the league after some substance abuse issues, right? We also have guys who are indefinitely suspended, like Justin Blackmon, wide receiver for the Jaguars, indefinitely suspended, never played in the league again. So what does that do to the Browns organization? With that money tied in. Now, an indefinite suspension would help the Browns because then they're not on the hook to pay him, I don't believe. I don't know that.
I don't know.
Brandt was saying some interesting things that I maybe there is some sort of clause in there that he still gets some fucking paid. He's going to need the money because he's going to be doling out a fuckload of cash.
Like at this point in time, like, if there's a possibility of that, I feel like it sounds bad, but like the Browns should almost be colluding with the NFL and being like, look, what's the situation going to be? Are you going to suspend it for a year or more? Or can you at least do us a favor? And if there's a way for us to get out of this money, like suspend him indefinitely so that way we're not getting completely screwed because you're setting back your future for like 5+ years.
Yeah.
Money-wise.
That's exactly what it is. That's 5+ years.
Yeah. If there's any way that can save them some of that capital, like in cap space.
I don't know that there is. Like, so I had a couple good years as a Browns fan. We went on a little bit of run, thought we were in the playoff. We made the playoffs, won a game, thought we had a chance at the playoffs again. And then there was a little bit of turmoil. I thought this offseason would be a little weird. There would be, maybe a little bit of a down year. And then, we could maybe bounce back because we have a really talented roster. This fractures an organization. these kinds of decisions, because here's what's going to happen. And I don't want this to happen because it's going to suck, because we got very lucky and did some really smart things as an ownership group. We hired one of the best young GMs in the league. He is one of the best GMs that the league has, and he's been sought after for a long time. We hired a guy who won Coach of the Year and is a very smart football guy, stuck around through multiple regimes up in Minnesota, and then probably had a chance to become the next head coach had he not already taken the Browns job.
Yeah.
We have two guys that are going to be highly sought after, like if they are ever let go, and they're going to be fired. They're going to get fired because of the way the situation is going to break down. And it sucks. It won't be this year, but it'll be 2 years from now, because there's going to be pushback. Things are going to come out about this contract that we may not necessarily know, because we know the major details, right? We know the money, we know the years. We don't know the outs. We don't know specifics of guarantees. We don't know what happens in terms of suspensions. None of that has been released as far as I know. Now, Kyle Brandt, who is obviously very in tune with the NFL, was a GM with the Packers for a long time. He may know some of that information, that why this is a unique situation. But once those things come out, if it is the way it appears, they're going to be fired or ousted because of the just awful PR that is going to come along with it.
Yeah.
This
and
is
realistically,
a PR fucking nightmare.
When you sign a guy that big with that much guaranteed money, the owner is involved. The owner has to sign off on it, because that money's coming out of the owner's pocket. It's not just the team, it's the owner's pocket.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
so what does that do for the ownership group?
They share as much blame for the situation for signing off on things. I saw some report too that the Browns asked all the women within the organization how they'd feel about it. I don't know what their responses were, obviously.
But I'm pretty sure I saw the same report. It was not overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, the situation continues on. And by next week, we might have even more stuff to talk about it. Right now, the question is, who's playing quarterback for your Browns?
Jacoby Brissett.
That's what it sounds like.
So we saw the comment from Goose on Facebook before this all started. Said he needed to tune in so we could talk about it. Well, Jacoby Brissett is going to start for the Browns. Baker's out. That's done. He's been excused for mandatory minicamp. So that is a telltale. That's exactly what happened with OBJ. Right before he was traded, he was excused from practices. Baker is excused, not required to be there, doesn't want to be there. Organization doesn't want him there. And I've also seen some reports, obviously from some smaller people, unsubstantiated. This is not like a Rappaport or a Schefter saying this, but it's an overwhelming kind of feeling that the Browns are going to release Baker because they can't get a trade partner or they refuse to eat the money. I don't understand why the Browns wouldn't eat the money right now to get an extra pick. You just traded away a fuck ton of picks for a guy who's not going to play. And you have enough money on the cap right now to eat his salary this year, and then it all comes off the books. You're going to need that 18.9 in the next few years, depending on the guarantees that you gave Deshaun. Like, just fucking eat basically all the fucking salary that you have to get a pick back to continue to try to build this team, because that's your only fucking option at this point. Jacoby Brissett is going to start. We are going to be a below average team because we are going to have below average quarterback play. We are a very, very talented roster. Incredibly talented. We have probably the defensive player of the year as our cornerstone of our defense. We did a lot of good things. We went out and added receiver help. We have the best offensive line in football and the best running back tandem in football right now until we trade Kareem, which I expect to also happen probably before the start of the season, because we have 4 guys under contract, one that we just drafted, and Kareem's contract is up after the year. So we're not keeping 4 backs. There's going to be some moves. Just eat the fucking money and get a pick. That's the best you can hope for right now. And as a guy who I had massive props for and high hopes in Andrew Berry, he's not making a smart decision. He's made a really bad one already in trying to get Deshaun. He found a way to make that work, and now he won't get rid of a guy to get a pick when you've already wasted all of those fucking picks on Deshaun, because that's what they are right now. We didn't trade those picks for an asset. We traded it for fucking a cap hit.
And a headache.
And a massive PR headache. At this point, I know this might be a little early. This is a massive mistake. We traded away 3 first-round picks for a massive mistake. How does a GM survive that? Will it happen immediately?
No,
I don't think it will.
You don't.
You don't. And it sucks because he was one of those young, bright guys that everybody wanted, everybody coveted. And there were multiple teams in on Deshaun. So everybody missed on this. That might be his only saving grace, is that anybody who was looking for a quarterback was in on Deshaun. And that's not fucking happening. We talked about this last show. There's no way we could trade for Jimmy. What are we going to give up? A bag of fucking peanuts? Like, we don't have anything left. Do you guys want Kareem Hunt? We can give you a fucking straight up Jimmy G for Kareem Hunt. He'd do great in that offense for you guys. But that's not going to happen. We're not trading a quarterback for a running back. Jacoby's going to start. Jacoby is a below average starter. He is a starter-ish. But he is, 26 to 32 starter. Our roster is good enough to put us somewhere in the middle. We'll be 8 and 9.
I think we talked about it last week, I believe. But I mean, maybe you can do something, work some magic to get some magic on your team. Some Fitz magic, pull him out of retirement.
Okay, if we're going to bring in another quarterback, I don't want Jimmy G. Give me the Fitz magic. Find a way to pull his ass out of retirement. I don't care if he starts one fucking game.
What do you think about a 1-for-1 swap of Kareem Hunt for the mustache?
For fucking Minshew?
Gardner. Yeah.
Sign me up. Sign me up 100%.
You think that's enough?
Oh my God. Do I think it's enough to get Gardner? No. We'll have to sweeten that with a 6th or something. One of those other picks that we got, because I think Gardner
might be worth it.
I think it would be worth it.
I mean, that's a running team out there in Philly.
I think that I think Philly would enjoy that. I think Gardner is a Baker clone, so Browns fans would hate it. And it would cause more controversy in that fucking locker room. Jacoby's starting. He's going to start. They brought in Jacoby for a reason. It was to back up Deshaun, potentially start a few games. Jacoby's starting the whole year. And Jacoby, hopefully, my only hope is that Jacoby got to stay healthy. And if Jacoby can take this team to 9-10 wins, Jacoby go gets himself a big-ass contract at the end of the year. He was playing really good with Indy until he got hurt. So he has potential to win games, but he is a bottom-tier starter in the league. My only hope is that we can find a way to make Nick Chubb run for 200 yards a fucking game, and Jacoby doesn't throw 30 picks.
Vikings did it with Christian Ponder as their quarterback, and Adrian Peterson, put up
2,000 yards. 2,000 yards is what had to happen. Like,
yeah,
that's the kind of performance we're going to need out of Nick Chubb. Like, we are going to be a middle of the pack team. We're going to finish somewhere in that 12 to 17 range, 17 being the absolute high, 12 being, I think, our floor, but could be lower, which puts us out of a running for another quarterback next year when quarterbacks are really good, which is kind of what I was hoping, is that we run it back with Baker. And if Baker doesn't work, we go and look for a guy in this draft where the quarterbacks are actually really fucking good instead of only one first-round quarterback next year. I'm not a front office guy. I'm not a GM. I'm a dummy thick idiot, and this is all conjecture, right? But like, shouldn't be rocket science. They fucked up. Let's just call the fucking spade a spade at this point. If you're on Browns Twitter and you're standing there like, oh, Deshaun's gonna be fine, this is all a hit job. Anybody can see at this point, this is all not made up anymore. There was a potential that people thought, people are going for money. The Houston Texans were trying to make him look bad so they could, get him out of town or whatever because he wouldn't play for them. The Texans are now a fucking defendant in the trials. Like, he did this shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Are there maybe some taggers along? Maybe.
There's probably some people that are looking there to get some money. Some women are looking to get some money, but when
there's not 24 fucking liars.
24 is too much to have them all be lying. 66 people involved, not all of them, doing suits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is what it is.
So when we say that, there's potential for things to go worse, he had 66 masseuses in like an 18-month period. There are potentially 42 more fucking cases coming. Because if maybe he didn't do anything, but maybe you will get some taggers along now that realize they can get paid.
Mm-hmm.
That is not outside the realm of possibility. This could not have gone any fucking worse. And I love being right, but God damn it, I hate being right in this situation.
Yep. All right, man. Well, we'll see what the Deshaun Watson Cleveland Browns saga brings us next week.
We'll probably have more shit to talk about next week.
Yeah. You got anything else you want to go over, brother?
Fucking more beer at this point because God damn it, I hate ending the show on Deshaun.
That's the way it's going to go until we start getting into July, getting into training camps and more.
Until he is finally suspended, this is going to be an every week thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like it. I want to talk about the Browns. I want to talk about the Browns every week. But this is not the way I want to talk about the Browns.
I feel it.
But
all right, man. Well, I got to go make some birria tacos.
Ooh, super jealous. We're having chicken Alfredo for dinner.
Ooh, well, that sounds good too.
So.
And then I might have to have a snack beforehand.
There you go. Hi, Hannah.
She was the one that told me to wear it, so I'm
nice.
All right.
All right. Well, you got the ladies' approval. You might as well, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, guys, we're going to get out of here. One quick time before we get out of here, I'm going to toss this motherfucker back up. There it is. You beat me to it. So we are doing a giveaway. If you go to our YouTube page, take a screenshot of any one of our shows, post it to Facebook, post it to Twitter, include the hashtag LoungeBirdies. You'll be entered for a chance to go and play some Top Golf at First Energy Stadium with me and producer Amber. You don't need to tag us or do any of that. We can search these, but that'll be for you and a guest of your choice to join us. There's going to be 2 winners, 4 total people joining us, and it's going to be a good time. Like I said, if they're not selling alcohol at First Energy, Papa's going to bring some so we can tailgate before. I'm very excited. It's going to be mine and producer Amber's anniversary as well. So we'll drink a little bit, go play some Top Golf, hang out with you guys, and then we'll send you on our way. And then we're going to go probably find a hotel and go to Pound Town, maybe do a little bit of Evo's sweatshirt. So there we go. Get that in there. But guys, thank you for supporting us. We had a ton of comments today. I like the energy. I like the people coming in. Quite a few viewers throughout. Thank you guys so much for everything that you do. I'm Mike. That's Evo. We are in different annexes of Hangar 6. Sleeves are always optional. And we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Welcome to the Lineman Lounge, hosted by Mike and Evo, calling their shots and being outlandish.
Breaking news from the Lineman Lounge. My fantasy football team just took a huge fucking hit. And that also makes it even more likely that the Raiders are going to beat the Ravens on Monday night. Le'Veon Bell is about to be your starter. Latavius Murray is going to go there as well. Jesus, fuck my ass.
Get ready for the thickest podcast in the game. Coming to you from Hangar 6, where sleeves are optional.